Imagine yourself on an exciting journey to health and well-being. But suddenly a daunting challenge arises: type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. These villains threaten the stability of your body as if they were dark shadows in the path of your health. But fear not, because in this incredible story, we will unravel the mysteries of these enemies and discover how intermittent fasting can be the hero you want. Type 2 diabetics can significantly benefit from intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is easier and more natural than many people imagine. Medical authorities may resist intermittent fasting due to the status and prestige associated with established practices. There is evidence that intermittent fasting can improve metabolism and reduce blood sugar levels. Myths about the dangers of intermittent fasting, such as nutritional deficiencies and loss of muscle mass, are challenged with scientific evidence. ASISA. Intermittent fasting is like a super powerful tool to help people with type 2 diabetes. It may seem difficult, but intermittent fasting is as easy as counting to 3. Sometimes people who know a lot are afraid to change their ideas. A serious study showed that intermittent fasting helps get blood sugar under control. Some people think that intermittent fasting can make us weak or sick, but that's just a story. Many people think that you can only be healthy by eating all the time, but that's not the case. Some people say that fasting can make us lose muscle, but that's not true. Imagine if your body could transform into a superhero that doesn't need to eat all the time. Intermittent fasting may seem like an adult thing, but even children can understand how cool it is. So instead of being scared about fasting, you can try it and see how you feel. Important nutrients like proteins, healthy fats, and vitamins. When you eat real foods, you are feeding your body what it really needs to function well. Intermittent fasting is not about starving yourself, but about eating more efficiently. You can still eat until you're full, just in a shorter period of time. Imagine if you could eat everything you like, but in less time. It's as if your body has a super powerful digestion machine that works best when you use it for shorter periods of time. It may seem strange, but eating all day is not what humans do naturally. We are like the deer in the backyard. We eat a few times a day, and that is okay. One of the concerns with fasting is a lack of nutrients. But if you eat real foods, you are providing your body with all the nutrients it needs. So instead of worrying about fasting, give it a try and see how your body responds. You might be surprised at how good you feel when you eat in a more natural and efficient way. When we choose real foods, we are opting for essential nutrients like protein, healthy fats, and quality carbohydrates, along with vitamins and minerals that our bodies need. These nutrients are like the superheroes that help us turn our food into energy to keep us moving. When we eat less, our bodies need fewer of these nutrients, but it's still important to make sure we're getting enough to stay healthy. If you are fasting for more than a day, it may be a good idea to supplement with electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium to help your body function better. It is also important to consider dehydration during prolonged fasting and ensure we are consuming enough water, along with electrolytes, to avoid dizziness, nausea, and tiredness. Now, when we talk about what to eat during intermittent fasting, we need to consider low-starch foods like cauliflower, broccoli, and asparagus, which are great options. But if you are active, thin, and have no problems with insulin sensitivity, you can include some other foods, such as tubers and beans, in moderate amounts. Maintaining a consumption of up to 150 grams of carbohydrates per day, mainly from natural and whole grain sources, can be a good practice. In percentage terms, this represents between 5% and 30% of total calories, with 5% for a ketogenic diet and 30% still below standard guidelines. This means that between 45% and 80% of calories should come from healthy fats, which is completely natural and healthy when coming from real foods. Consuming in this way not only helps reduce the risk of gallstones, but can also be beneficial for overall health. As for concerns about losing muscle mass during fasting, it is important to understand how the body obtains energy during this period. Contrary to common belief, the brain does not depend exclusively on glucose. During prolonged fasting, you can use ketones as an energy source. Additionally, the body has intelligent mechanisms, such as gluconeogenesis, to produce glucose from alternative sources, such as glycerin, found in the breakdown of triglycerides. During fasting, the body prioritizes the preservation of muscle mass, mainly due to the action of human growth hormone, which spares muscles and uses other sources of energy. Even though the body stores carbohydrates in the form of glycogen, the amount of energy available in the form of fat is much greater, which minimizes muscle loss during prolonged fasting. Therefore, the loss of muscle mass during intermittent fasting depends on several factors, including the duration of the fast and the person's general health and physical activity. Now, let's address an important topic related to type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. Insulin resistance occurs when the body produces more and more insulin, but it does not work effectively, resulting in rising blood sugar levels. This contributes to metabolic problems and can lead to a condition in which insulin no longer works as it should. To deal with this, traditional medicine often turns to metformin, which helps make cells more sensitive to insulin. However, if this is not effective, the next step is to add external insulin, which can make the situation worse by increasing already high insulin levels. This is where intermittent fasting comes into play as an alternative approach that can help reduce blood sugar levels and increase insulin sensitivity. During fasting, blood sugar levels decrease, making the body more sensitive to insulin, which can reduce the need for medications such as exogenous insulin. However, some critics warn about the dangers of intermittent fasting, especially for those already taking insulin. However, it is important to understand that the real danger may be blindly accepting arguments to the contrary without considering the potential benefits of intermittent fasting. Following a balanced diet, eating only when you are hungry and avoiding eating when you are not are simple principles that can help you develop a healthy lifestyle with intermittent fasting. This flexible approach allows people to tailor intermittent fasting to their individual needs and preferences. For example, a 10-hour eating window may be suitable for some people, while others may prefer a longer fasting period. Ultimately, intermittent fasting can be an effective tool for improving metabolic health and managing type 2 diabetes, as long as it is practiced responsibly and under proper guidance.